Hey, how's it going everyone? Welcome to another edition of League Update. My name's Lewis, and in this series we take a look at all things new coming soon to the Summoner's Rift. Patch 7.7 is headed to the live servers in the early hours of April the 5th, your local time, and with it contains the content covered in the last episode that includes the new legendary skin Godfist Lee Sin, Dreadnought Darius, and more. There will be a link at the end of this video where you can check that out if you wish. Anyway, let's jump onto the latest update that's fresh out on the PBE server. In this new patch, we get to see two new champions together for the first time and a bunch of new skins that include the likes of Conqueror Karma and Cosmic Blade Master Yi. In this video, we're going to take a look at the two new champions, Rakan the Charmer and Xayah the Rebel. Both of these champions have some interesting interactions with each other, including a joint recall which Riot seems to be experimenting with for the first time. Rakan is a support champion while Xayah dishes out damage as an AD carry. Let's first take a look at Rakan. He is described as a highly mobile support champion darting in and out of danger, disrupting enemies and baffling allies. Let's start with his passive, Faith Feathers. Rakan occasionally generates a shield even in combat. Attacking an enemy will reduce the cooldown, giving you a faster shield generation. While this isn't super strong, it shouldn't be counted out completely as it's definitely going to help incrementally, especially during laning phase. There's also a second part to this passive that both of these champions have called Lover's Leap, where they join together in each other's recall. That'll be shown later. Moving on to his Q, Gleaming Quill, Rakan flings an enchanted feather forward, dealing damage to the first enemy hit. If a champion or epic monster are hit, Rakan's cloak surges with energy, and after a brief delay, an Era of Effect heal activates. This happens immediately if Rakan is touching an ally. This is a pretty easy skill shot to land and is essentially one of those ways that you can sustain you and your AD carry through those difficult harass moments. Early game the damage is fairly light, which is to be expected, but if you hit Q after Q, the benefits will start adding up. Rakan's W, Grand Entrance, is exactly that. You leap forward and then land at your target's destination. You then pause for a very small moment in what Riot describes as dramatic effect before launching into the air and knocking up any nearby opponents. This ability has a lot of utility potential. Not only can it be used as an escape or gap closer, but as a support, knocking up enemies for your AD carry is always a welcome sign to initiate a fight, and if used correctly with other abilities, it is likely to do a decent amount of damage. I can see this being used in lane and then later on in the game when combined with other teammates. Battle Dance is Rakan's E, and when activated it causes you to fly to a nearby allied champion, granting them a shield for a few moments. It can then be recast once more at no additional cost within 5 seconds. This could be used in many ways, including with a jungler or another player ganking your lane. The range of the cast is increased when used with Xayah. You can see with this and his W ability why Rakan has been described as highly mobile. Last of his abilities is his ultimate, named the Quickness. You break into a sprint that grants bonus movement speed. While this ability is active, you charm and then damage all enemies that you come into contact with. After connecting with the first enemy champion, you gain a large movement speed boost. The name The Quickness is well deserved. Activating the ability will give you a 50% plus movement speed boost and then a further 150% movement speed boost on top of that once you connect with the first enemy champion. The damage dealt to the champions is quite decent for a support, and the speed is more than enough to get you out of a bad situation if you need to bail. That's it from his abilities. I'll let you listen into his taunts, jokes, laugh and dance as well as his recall animation. Enjoy.
You want to smell it?
No flower for you!
Do you want to smell it?
Not for you! Is totally bogus your thing? Man, are you digging this air?
Now let's move on to Xayah the Rebel and start with her passive Clean Cuts. After casting an ability, Xayah's next few basic attacks are modified to pierce through all enemies in her path. These attacks deal reduced damage to the enemies beyond the first one. Each of the modified attacks leaves a feather on the ground behind their target, which stay there for a little while before disappearing. She also shares a joint recall passive with Rakan. Xayah's Q double daggers is a skill shot. After a brief windup, Xayah throws 2 feather blades in quick succession in the target direction that each deal damage to the enemies they pass through. A single feather is then left on the ground at the ability's maximum range. This ability is not only decently ranged, but also puts out a fair amount of physical damage that scales well with your AD. With quite a low cooldown and small mana use, this ability can be used many times as long as it's efficiently. Moving on to a W, Deadly Plumage, you surround yourself with a storm of blades that grants bonus attack speed and damage on the next few basic attacks. If you strike an enemy champion, you gain a brief movement speed buff. When Rakan is nearby with this ability activated, he also gains the effects. This is your power up ability that is probably best used when you want to burst down an enemy champion really fast. As it grants bonus attack speed, it will scale better as you get your core AD carry items in progress. Blade Caller is Xayah's E, it recalls all her feathers back to her which deal damage to all enemies they strike. Enemies that are struck by multiple feathers are rooted briefly. While it's still okay at wave clearing, minions only take 50% of the damage. This is the ability that interacts with the rest the most, using up feathers that the other abilities leave behind. This can also critically strike, so any chance that you get where you think that you can probably hit an enemy with more than one, recalling feathers is probably a good option. Now for the ultimate, which is called Feather Storm, Xayah leaps into the air, becoming briefly untargetable but still able to move. After a short delay, she hurls a storm of blades in a cone in front of her that deals damage to enemies struck, and leaves behind feathers at Feather Storm's maximum range. When you consider E's interaction with feathers, depending on your situation, it may be better to use this ability first before combining E to finish your target off. Being able to move while untargetable as an AD carry is definitely a bonus you should take advantage of as much as you can. As we did with Rakan, let's take a look at her jokes, taunts, laugh and dance, as well as her recall animation. Enjoy.
Damn it! Damn it! Can I just hate you to death? I'm about to ruin your day. Oh yeah, let's get down.
So looks like that's about it for this league update, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed, please don't forget to hit that like button and let me know what your thoughts are on the new champions down in the comment section below. Take care guys, and I'll see you soon.